Hi everybody, my name's Steve Rolston and we are here again with the Watercolour Westport Stories podcast. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing Shawn and then Jamie a little while later. But yeah, I want to welcome you to the show.
Thanks,
Shawn.
Steve. Yeah, it's great to be here. Fantastic to be in the neighborhood.
And we're so delighted that you and Jamie are in the neighborhood. And now we just want to hear question number one is, can you tell me a little bit about growing up and where you're from? Because we were just chatting beforehand and that sounds so much like Westport.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I've lived all over the world, frankly, but grew up in a smaller place. I was born and raised in Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories, which is really the North Country. I call it the real true North, strong and free. Left there when I was in my teens to go to university, lived in the West Coast in Vancouver. After university, spent some time traveling, Southeast Asia and Australia, spent some time in Europe in between studies, did my undergraduate degree in Vancouver and then traveled, lived in Europe, came back, did my graduate degree, and then as everybody usually ends up, I was, my first professional career job was in Toronto. So despite the fact I claimed I would never move to Toronto, but I ended up in Toronto for starters, which was great. Spent a couple of years in the big city there and then moved out to the East Coast. So I spent about 14 years in Halifax, which is a wonderful community too, smaller size city. Children were born there, and then moved to Montreal about 10 years ago. So I've been all over the place and, but my roots are really small town, and I spent the majority of my life and my working career in larger cities. So enjoyed city life and all the culture and all of the, the amazing things that you can do in cities. But now as we get into the latter part of our career, it's nice to try to slow things down a little bit, right? And so now here we are in watercolors and really kind of back to my roots in a strange way, smaller rural lifestyle, but still have the access to the city. So it's great.
Huh. And so what are your degrees in?
So I actually did an undergraduate degree in geography and political science with a minor in economics, which, you wonder what you're going to do with a job out of that, but I ended up in transportation. And Jamie, my wife, similarly ended up in transportation logistics. I went back and did a master's degree specializing in that. So both Jamie and I work in international transportation and work remotely. So this place is perfect for that because we're always either working remotely here or traveling, visiting customers, attending conferences, whatever the case might be. But transportation, logistics, and trade, really, international trade is what we're involved in.
Right. Huh. And we'll come back to the remote worker idea later. So basically what I'm doing is we're going to ask in this podcast, who people are, what they do in the marketplace, where they're coming from, and when they found out about watercolor. So can you share with people a little bit about when you found out about watercolor?
Yeah, so it's actually an interesting story. We were living in Montreal, had a home there for about 10 years, and we like to, we're really outdoorsy people. So we've been coming out to this neighborhood for years, both independently, Jamie and her children, and me as well separately, and then also together. We like to do a lot of water sports, kayaking in particular. So we've been up and down the Rideau system over the years, camped out, Charleston Lake, and we just kind of stumbled across Westport actually along the way. We were driving through the area and, kind of came through town and we're like, well, this is a nice little town. We stopped at the brewery and we're camping, so we used the local showers and the public facilities that they have here, which was great. And so, we over the years, we passed through a few times. And then 2 winters ago, I actually slipped and injured my Achilles heel. So I was kind of out of action for most of the summer, and it was Jamie's birthday. And finally I was mobile, I had one of these boots on and so forth. And I said, well, what can we do for Jamie's birthday? Because I can't obviously do too much. So I thought, well, maybe we should just go up to Westport and we'll stay at the Cove and we'll have a birthday dinner and, just enjoy some music, make an outing, because we hadn't frankly been out too much with the injury. So we drove up and we did that, and was actually on the way out of town. I saw one of your sandwich boards on the side of the road.
Oh.
And I was like, that's interesting. I wonder what that's about. Watercolors, like houses, interesting. So I took note, and then, Jamie can tell the story. I wouldn't really let it go. I was like, geez, I got to check that out, right? We went online, we were looking at your marketing materials, your website and so forth, and it's like, couldn't get it out of my head. And we had already started discussing our plan to downsize, because many of our kids have moved out and they're into university or working, and we hadn't really thought about the timing of that to be immediate, but this watercolors kind of grabbed our attention, so that's how we found out about it. And from there, Jamie basically got fed up with me talking about it and said, well, we better drive up to Westport, and I think it was in January or February, and so we did. So we came up and we visited the show home, and then one thing led to another. Wasn't long before we had an offer in, and there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the basis of the story. So an area that we've always enjoyed coming to, and all the amenities that we like, and just kind of stumbled across the neighborhood. We didn't expect to have a new neighborhood in a kind of a historical village in the countryside. So it kind of was nice. Yeah, so that was the story, I guess. Jamie probably has a different take on it, but I'll leave that to her.
Oh, most definitely she will, yes. Most spouses do have a very different take on a similar experience, I find. But, that's fascinating.
Yeah. So, no complaints. It went very quickly for us. Again, I mentioned we were thinking, okay, we have still 2 children in Montreal that are in college and high school, and I have shared custody with their mother, and so we thought, well, we'll stick it out a couple more years in Montreal, and then we'll see where the kids go. But we couldn't see a reason not to move a little quicker, and so that's what we decided to do at the end of the day. So we put our house on the market. I guess it was last year, right? Yeah, seems like a while ago now. And and then we closed here in October. So a little quicker than we expected, but perfect timing at the end of the day. So now we have the benefits without having to wait, right? And we still spend a fair amount of time in Montreal. We also have some children in Toronto. So our eldest is actually working at U of T, and her husband, fiance, I guess, they're married. They're thinking about getting married out here, actually, but that's another story. He works as a lawyer downtown in Toronto, and so they're doing the Toronto thing that we all do when we're young, right? When we've got lots of energy and the excitement of the city draws us there. So they're there. Our younger daughter as well, she's also in Toronto studying at Humber. So it's pretty convenient. We're only 3 hours from Toronto now, and we're still only 3 hours from Montreal. We've got 2 kids there. And we also have a son who's up in my hometown in Yellowknife. Oh. So he's working up there. So that was a bit of a surprise, but he's apprenticing as a heavy-duty equipment mechanic up that way. So that's so they're spread out. So we're seeing the kids start to move on to do their thing, but we still want to be close enough where we can spend time with them, right? Where we can visit and where they can visit us and so forth. So that's kind of where we're at. And we're sort of, like to say, we feel like we're in the middle of nowhere, but we're also in the middle of everywhere, if that makes any sense.
Oh, it sure does. But actually, why don't you explain it in your words? Because I might have my predisposed idea of what I think that means.
As I mentioned, we really enjoy nature. So that's a common thing that brought Jamie and I together, was this love of peace and quiet and nature and, the world, right? And so all of those amenities that we see around here, it's great. So you really do feel like you're part of nature here. You're really surrounded by it, as opposed to going to a park where the city surrounds the park, right? And so that's really important to us. So in that sense, you feel like you're a little bit in the middle of nowhere, but to counter that, you're still so close to everything. You know, for us anyway, we feel, 2 to 3 hour drive is, geez, we can hardly get downtown in Montreal in the time it takes to get to Ottawa, right?
Right.
So, and it's true. So, Jamie's mother lives on the east end of Montreal, and her brother's even further east, off the island of Montreal. And yeah, we try to see them as much as we can, but just the commute itself, it's the friction of distance. Mm-hmm. So again, we're in the middle of nowhere, but we're really not far from everything we would want, in terms of city life and connectivity. So we have, Ottawa Airport. The last flight that I took for work, I flew through Ottawa. I went direct to Florida. So it's perfect, right? So, most people in Montreal couldn't get to the airport in Montreal in the same amount of time as you can get from here to the airport in Ottawa.
Right.
So you're really not that far away. So that's why I say you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, but you're also in the middle of everything. And having the kids in Toronto, that's easy too for us. We can drive down there, spend the weekend. They can come up this way. In fact, over Easter, Jamie's eldest and her fiance are going to come up to Westport and stay with us because we have the extra room. And they're going to check out, I think they're thinking about possibly having their wedding at the vineyard at the River House.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they're going to go and check it out, right, and they'll stay here for the weekend. So just kind of nice that we're close enough that, they can visit and we can visit them. But at the same time, we don't have to struggle with all the, let's put it bluntly, hassle of the city.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, I guess that's the best way. I think it's kind of a long-winded explanation, but in the middle of nowhere, but in the middle of everything, right? Surrounded by everything is maybe a better way to put it. Yeah.
So how have you found settling in?
Easy. I mean, just really, that was another thing that really has been nice for us. It's just, you get here and it's just, the stress just drops away, and, the neighbors, as we were talking about before, get to know them. You can't avoid them. You see them on walking their dogs, and we do the same thing. So, just really relaxing. So it's been pretty easy. I mean, everything was pretty much done for us when we got here, so no hassles that way. And also one of the things that attracted us about Watercolours is, as much as we love some of the historical homes in the neighborhood, we're at that stage in our life where that's not really what we want as a hobby.
Right.
So in that sense, moving into a new build like this it's maintenance free, it's efficient, it's easy, and you don't have to worry. There's no worries. That's really it. Yeah. So I guess I don't know if Jamie will tell you more as well, but our experience, we just can't wait to get back. We do spend still quite a bit of time in Montreal. We have a rental there, so when we're visiting, we're traveling a lot. And, this winter, for example, we've been traveling too much. We're crossing like two ships in the night. I'll be here, and then she'll be traveling, and I'll be traveling, and she'll be here. So that's one thing that we really enjoy. Like now we're coming back, we'll be here for a couple of weeks again, just to kind of live, take it easy, and still working. I mean, we have our day jobs, so that carries on, but we can do that anyways remotely, so that's not a problem.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess that would be the comment on that. No hassles at all.
And how have you found the local shopping, dining experience?
Great. Again, it's small, it's micro, but yeah, we're at the Cove probably every couple of weeks, I would say. Yeah, and sometimes they have these events on which we can't avoid. So what was the last one? It was that Scottish poet event. That was quite something there. Anyway, we went over for that. But so we're at the Cove every couple of weeks. The Lost Penny. We're there. We love the burgers there.
The Lost Penny pub.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the burgers are great. So if we feel like a burger, we wander down there, right? Obviously, we've got Kadrinkos. So if we have something we need an ingredient, we can just run down there. And what I do like a lot is we have 2 dogs, and they're so welcome here. We go into the hardware store. In fact, when we go to Home Hardware, I got to go down and get something there. Like Bailey, as soon as I mention Home Hardware, he's like, can't wait to go get the snack, right? Because the guys in there, they know Bailey now, so whenever he shows up, he's welcome. Same in the bank. Everything's just within walking distance, which is great. So yeah, dining. I mean, there's limited dining, but at the same time, Perth is only 20 minutes away too. So we've been to the wine bar there, and we haven't had a chance to really explore all of the restaurants in the neighborhood, to be honest, yet.
Yeah.
So there's more than enough for us in that regard, and yeah, it's and the fact that there's live music every night at the Cove. We enjoy live music, so that's kind of unique. I don't even know of anywhere in Montreal, or at least in the West Island where we live, where there's music every night.
I know.
Right? So that's been fantastic. We can't complain.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with Seamus and Mary and Terry Cowan and their spirit of generosity and hospitality, and just for so many years having hosted so many events there. They do such an incredible job. Maybe that was Robbie Burns' night?
Robbie Burns' night, that's right, yeah. No, it was great. I mean, and they had the pipers in there. We have a piper in our neighborhood, as you know, as well, right? That former Canadian Forces guy who plays the pipes occasionally around. So he was there too.
Dave,
Dave, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so he was down there with his wife as well, which is natural. He didn't play pipes that night, but yeah, they do a great job down at the Cove. I mean, and the menu is amazing. For country food, we have the country corner, which is your diner style, which you expect for, your breakfast and your lunch and stuff, but they really kind of kick it up a notch, especially with the event foods that they put on there. It's, they've got a good kitchen staff and even good wine. Jamie and I, we like wine. And so we have the vineyards here, but, the Cove, they bring in some nice wines as well. They had a South African one that that they've been bringing in. I think we're probably running them out of that wine.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So no, it's great. It's and we'll probably go again here in the next couple of days. We haven't decided what the next event is, right? Huh. Oh, the Blue Rodeo one. Yeah, Blue Rodeo tribute band. That's coming up. So we'll be going to that next weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Huh. And so when you've done kayaking up and down the Rideau, will you just do a different section and park a car and two cars and go pick them up?
Yeah, we haven't had an opportunity to do that since we lived here yet.
True.
But that's what we would do previously. We'd bring the kayaks up, put in at one of the locks, and then paddle to another lock, camp out, because you can camp along. It's all a national park, right. And the dark skies are amazing, especially at some of the locks. At Davis Lock, for example. It's beautiful down there, right? And of course you have the boaters that come in for the evening, but just the whole system and the lakes, I really enjoy it because, again, growing up north, we have the cottage out on the lake there and surrounded by water. And so, yeah, kayaking's nice. And we're looking forward to getting out more on the lake here now that we're living here. We actually did that before we even discovered watercolors. We came down one time and we put in down at the marina there. And we paddled all the way out to the beach at the end of Foley Mountain.
Oh, yes.
So we paddled over there to the beach, and then we hiked all around Foley Mountain, got back in the boats and paddled back, and then we went for a beer at the brewery, right?
Nice.
So, I mean, it's just a great, I don't know where else you can do that kind of an activity in one day, right?
I was out on the hill last night with my son Christian, and I was in awe that in the morning I had heard the trumpeter swans.
Oh, yeah.
In the evening we heard the sandhill cranes, and I was like, where else can you hear loons flying by?
Yeah.
Trumpeter swans, sandhill cranes, or maybe a coyote at night.
Yeah.
Because, you said something really interesting. If you're in a city and you go to a park, the city surrounds the park.
Yeah.
But you're the first person to help me make that connection. Yeah, here, many have said this is a village in a valley. But we're surrounded by nature. And it's just this 200-year-old amazing village that's surrounded by nature. Because there's so many firsts for Westport, I think. Yeah. Or unique, one-of-a-kind places that...
Yeah. And some people are, cautious of wildlife. Me, I grew up surrounded by nature. I mean, luckily there's no polar bears here. I might be concerned then, but you know, a couple of coyotes howling in the neighborhood, that's actually kind of nice to hear. You know, you feel like you're kind of part of it instead of going to the zoo. You
Yes.
know what I mean? So yeah, we had a nice park actually right behind our home in Montreal, and it was very nice. We actually saw some pretty, especially during COVID when things were quiet.
Right.
You know, we had a big barred owl in there, and we had foxes, and so it was quite nice. But that was during COVID, when there was no planes flying over and traffic was. So it was actually quite amazing to see how a city could start to become a little bit more wild during that time. But now it's back to the constant drone, and you don't, it blanks out the wildlife, right? So so I like the wildlife. I love going down the little trails there. I'm looking forward to, there's a new trail that you guys sponsored up the hill there, and I can't remember.
Yes, the Rideau Trail that mirrors the Rideau Canal, and that's one trailhead. And that's also the intersection of the Algonquin to Adirondack Trail. Somebody collared a moose many years ago called Alice. I think it was Alice the moose. And she walked from the Adirondacks in New York State up to Algonquin Park. And so the A to A trail is something like 640 kilometers.
Wow.
And so yeah, there's the A to A trail that uses part of the Rideau Trail. And it's just fascinating that the Rideau Canal is about 200 kilometers. The Rideau Trail is about 300 kilometers for hiking. And that's what my wife and I have often done is park a car. We'll do 10 or 15 or maybe more kilometers of a section. And we love the Rideau Trail. And yeah, then there's about 150 kilometers of blue trail because the color for the Rideau Trail is orange. So one way it has an arrow pointed white and you're headed to Kingston or you're headed to Ottawa. But the blue trails also, there's about 150 kilometers of blue trails that are associated, and they're offshoots of like
the Rideau.
Like a lookout, we have Spy Rock looking out over the village and over the upper Rideau, but also there's a blue trail that looks out over Sand Lake off of the Rideau Trail, and that's Old Bob's Lookout. Then this summer there'll be our lookout, hopefully, that comes to life up there. So it's kind of amazing. Get a look at the village or at Sand Lake from different perspectives. Yeah,
we've done the little Sand Lake section as well, which is quite nice. And you can actually walk here from here. You could walk a nice little morning, afternoon jaunt to walk up there and then do the little circuit and come back. So it's pretty amazing to have that in your backyard, really. You know, and we're looking forward to doing the sections. We'd like to do that too, like we have with the kayaks on certain sections of the Rideau system by water, but just doing the hiking would be nice too, you know. So just so much to explore. We haven't kind of scratched the surface, I guess. And Frontenac is like half an hour away as well, right? And Frontenac's another whole wilderness area. We were actually at the Cove the other night on this part of this Dark Skies group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell people more about that, because I want to interview.
So that's quite
John.
fascinating, and it's something that, you know, we're really keen on. I mentioned, you know, Davis Lock several summers we catch it on a no moon night, and it's really amazing night skies. But this Dark Skies group, they're really promoting the whole area as a designated dark skies area within North America, which is kind of, again, amazing when you think of being surrounded by all these major metropolitan areas, that there could be a dark skies area right in the middle of it all, right?
Yes.
So that's quite fascinating. So we're actually looking forward to, you know, exploring these areas more. Frontenac in particular, they have some specific sites that are designated for people to enjoy dark skies. So that we'll try to do this summer maybe.
Okay, in Frontenac Park.
Yeah, camp out, but just to have the whole area, you know, even just walking around town here, you can look up and you can see the stars, which, you know, most urbanites would probably, you know, just be amazed just to see that. Yeah. Never mind heading a little further out into, you know, a couple of minutes away, right?
Yeah.
So so that's kind of exciting. We'll follow up on that Dark Skies thing. There's a Dark Skies festival, and I forget the date, but they're going to be doing a Dark Skies festival here as well. So we'll probably participate in that just to get a better idea. Yeah. and meet some more of the community that like that sort of thing, right?
Yes. So do you have 2 dogs? Is that right?
We have 2 dogs, yeah.
Okay. So Bailey and
Luna.
Luna.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Luna's an old lady. She's a Labradoodle, and so she's getting up there, but she still loves to walk and get around. And Bailey's he's a husky German Shepherd mix, and he just loves, you know, being out in the woods, right, looking for bunnies. And he discovered deer here. This was a new thing for Bailey, because, you know, there's a lot of, you see rabbits in the city as well, in people's lawns and stuff. And then I remember the first time he saw a deer, because the white tail went. We were up at Foley Mountain, and I think he was flabbergasted. He didn't know what to think of this massive, huge bunny, right? So now he knows several words. He knows bunny, walk, deer is one of his favorites, right? Yeah. So Bailey's really happy. We just got back here today again from a bit away, and he just turns into he's so excited to be back, right? Seeing the backyard, and we talk about, he knows the mountain too. We say, well, we want to go to the mountain, and he just gets totally excited, right? So
have you investigated Forest and Field, the dog boarding place?
Actually, yeah, we've already had the opportunity to have the dogs there for a couple of nights, and just to, we were out of town. So yeah, they're a great group over there. We haven't had a chance to do it as much. We probably will spend more time there. But yeah, it's nice to have, very convenient to have her there with the facilities to look after dogs, and not in a kennel, right? In a kind of a natural environment, which is so important for us. We just can't, for us, we can't fathom putting the dogs in an extended period of time in a kennel.
Right.
If you need to travel for whatever reason it is, and Forest and Fields is it's a nice retreat for them almost.
And have you done pick up and drop off with Cheryl bringing the dogs to
we
the
haven't
kennel?
done that. We've dropped off, but I know that she does that service. Yeah. So we might take advantage of that. Usually we just drop by, and it's only a few minutes down the road, right?
Yeah.
But we have been also enjoying, I should mention this one, bakeries. I tell you, there's more bakeries here per capita. It's crazy, but they're all really good. So we've got the bakery downtown, right, with the butter tarts.
Yes.
And that was the first one we discovered when we first visited Westport. But now there's, what's the name of the lady? Stacy. At the Pie Bar, yeah. We actually drove by there today, and we were going to go in and collect our bread, because we ordered bread ahead of time. But it was like a traffic jam to get in there. Everybody's trying to get there to get the goodies, all the stuff other than the bread that they ordered, while it's still there, right? Because she does great pies and cinnamon buns and all this sort of stuff. And then there's the new, relatively new one, just like within a 5-minute walk of here, right? Forno. See, I'm not very good with names, but yeah, Forno. And that's actually really good too. I don't know if you've had...
I've had the pizza. And
I've had the pizza.
Yeah.
We haven't had the pizza yet, because they were trying to get that oven going there over the winter. But we've had the bread on many occasions and stopped in for sandwiches. And
yes, amazing sandwiches.
Yeah.
I just am so impressed with the sourdough and the sandwiches and the pizza. It's like, yes.
Yeah. And it's so, man, you can just walk over there for lunch. Yeah. Or, it's so close. That's what we love, is not having to take the car if you don't need to, if you don't want to, right? Everything's available within walking distance, basically. If you want to run out and go a little further afield for 5 minutes, you might need the car. But in town here, you can reach everything from the neighborhood, right? Yeah. Which is, it's nice.
Well, Shawn, I want to thank you very much for making time to be on the Watercolour Westport Stories podcast, because that's what it's all about, is meeting people, connecting people, and building communities so that people will know your dogs' names, as we were sharing earlier.
That's all that matters. I mean, you learn everybody's dog names first,
Exactly. Yeah. They'll get to know your name. But I think many more people probably have a lot more in common with us when we share from the heart, and then they'll be able to remember your name too.
Yeah. Well, and Steve, I mean, you were a big part of drawing us to the neighborhood. I mean, you were so welcoming when we first came for that first visit, you know, because we didn't really know what we were going to be expecting, and we came into the show home, and we felt at home right away. I mean, just welcomed, you know, by you and your whole team, and you know, not just trying to sell a house, but trying to help us find a home, right? So thank you for that.
Well, I have a lot of empathy for people. We moved 7 times as a kid, my family, and then before we had kids, we moved 7 times, my wife and I. So I know what a challenge it is, and that's I think why I'm doing what I'm doing, is connecting people and building community, and it's not anything other than what I believe in, is making people feel welcome, and that's why it's always nice to welcome new people into the community.
Yeah.
And
well,
we're so glad you guys have joined it.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today for the Watercolour Westport Stories podcast. We hope you've been inspired. You can like, follow, share our podcast with others through YouTube and Facebook, and connect with us through our website at watercolourwestport.com.